Imagine waking up one day to a world where the US dollar is no longer the top currency for global trade. If Canada, Mexico, and the European Union join the BRICS, an economic group that includes countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, it could shake up the global financial system and change the way money moves worldwide. But what would that really mean for the US and the rest of the world? Let's break it down. BRICS has been growing in the power with major economies like China and Russia. The group has been working on ways to reduce the world's reliance on the US dollar. They've even discussed creating shared currency. Now, if Canada, Mexico, and the European Union join the BRICS, that would be a game changer. These regions make up about 30% of the world's economy, which means they would have serious financial influence. Together, they could start using alternative currencies like Chinese yen or even the new BRICS based currency to trade with each other instead of using the dollar. This would weaken the dollar's role in global transactions, especially in industries like oil and natural resources, which are mostly traded in dollars right now, even though the US dollar still dominates international trade, being used in about 47% of cross border transactions. This change could speed up efforts to move away from one big effect. Central banks might start holding less US currency. Currently, about 42% of the world's central bank's reserves are in US dollars. If the BRICS countries start using their currency, the demand for dollars could shrink. This could make the dollar less stable over time, leading to higher inflation and financial uncertainty in the US. The US isn't just going to sit back and watch this happen. If Canada, Mexico, and the EU join the BRICS, the US government would likely react to tariffs and other financial penalties. Leaders, including Donald Trump, have already threatened to impose 100% tariffs on BRICS countries if they challenge the US status as world's reserve currency. Canada and Mexico, two of the US closest trading partners, wouldn't be spared. In fact, the US already suggested raising tariffs of 20 to 25% of all imports from these countries. What does that mean for everyday people? Higher prices in the US. Many of these things Americans buy, from food to electronics, come from the BRICS countries. If tariffs go up, these goods will become more expensive. More inflation. If the cost of imports rises, the inflation in the US could get worse, making it harder for families to afford everyday essentials. A weaker economy. If the BRICS members respond with their own tariffs, the US companies that export goods, especially in industries like agriculture, technology, will take a major hit. Can you imagine this? Canada could slap 100% tariffs on Tesla cars and American made alcohol, making those products much more expensive for the Canadians. And China, it's already putting tariffs on US energy exports, reducing American profits. If Canada, Mexico joined the BRICS, it would be one of the biggest shifts in global politics in decades. Right now, North America operates under the USMCA, United States, Mexico, and Canada Agreement, a trade deal that helps keep economic ties strong between these three countries. But if two of those countries suddenly align with the BRICS, that would weaken the agreement and change the balance of power in North America. The United Kingdom joins BRICS would also be a major blow to the US. Influence in Europe. This could push Europe closer to China and Russia, reducing the US ability to shape global trade and finance policies. At the heart of all of this, China has been working hard to move away from the US dollar, increasing its use of the yen in global trade, and stockpiling gold as a battle. With a bigger BRICS alliance, China could expand its Belt and Road Initiative, a massive infrastructure project that connects countries through trade routes, all while reducing its reliance on the US dollar. As China influence grows, the US could struggle to maintain control over the global economy. Now, let's be clear, the US dollar isn't going to disappear overnight. It's still deeply embedded in the global financial system for now. there isn't a strong enough alternative to replace it entirely. But if the BRICS gains more power, the dollar could gradually lose its dominance. Right now, the BRICS controls about 30% of the fuel trade in emerging markets, and if they decide to move away from the dollar, it could hurt the United States economy. A possible future, the world could split into two financial systems. One, the Western countries sticking with the US dollar, and two, the BRICS countries using a mix of alternative currencies, digital money, and gold reserves. With digital currencies like China's digital yuan becoming more popular, a financial divide will become even more noticeable. The biggest risk for the United States, if the shift happens, the US could face some serious challenges that would include trade deficits getting worse. In 2023, the US had $350 billion trade deficit with the BRICS countries. If tariffs the rise and the trade slows, that number could climb even higher. Retaliation from other countries. Canada, Mexico, and China could all introduce their own tariffs, making it harder for American businesses to compete. Number three, loss of financial control. The US has often used the dollar as a political tool, applying sanctions to countries it disagrees with. If more countries move away from the dollar, this power could fade. If Canada, Mexico, and the EU join the BRICS, it would be a huge turning point for the global economy. The dollar wouldn't collapse immediately, but the shift away from the US financial dominance would speed up. In the short term, we could see higher prices in the US because of the tariffs, more inflation, and economic instability. Stronger alliances between the BRICS nations and making the US less influential. So the long term question is, can the US adapt to a changing world, or will it cling onto old strategies that no longer work? Could BRICS become a real challenge to the US dollar, or will the dollar remain king? Leave a comment